Good afternoon. We have a special guest speaker for you today. Please give a warm welcome to the hosts of My Gym Partners, a podcast. Attendance is mandatory.
Bullshark.
Porcupine.
I
Don't.
know
What?
doing
This
podcast
is
a
pain
in
the...
Spider-Man, I went to the store one day to buy some milk for Master Wayne.
Are you...
He...
No, go on. I'm curious.
yeah. I'm you've sucked me into the world, the narrative that you created.
When I brought back the Spider-Man themed milk that I got from Mr. Wayne, he was
Oh,
very
boy.
cross with me. He demanded I go back and get the Batman themed one. I refused, and now I don't have a job. So I implore you, Mr. Parker, please hire me.
And scene.
How is this possible?
What?
How was that the thing? How could neither me or Renee have known that this was something that you were going to do?
I'm kind of envious of you, honestly. That I didn't think of that. That's amazing.
It was a monologue. That's Batman's last name, right, Wayne?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Bruce. It's Dr. Bruce
I wasn't
Wayne.
sure at first. I was trying to do a kind of mixture of like an Alfred, that's his butler, right?
Yeah.
And but then it started kind of sounding a little bit like Bane, but it's okay.
Nah,
Maybe they're
nah,
the
nah.
same person.
I mean, I was getting like big DoorDash vibes. Which isn't our sponsor, that's just a friend of ours.
Well, hey everybody.
A friend of the family.
Hey everybody.
Hey
God,
everyone.
Welcome to My Gym Partners, a podcast.
The podcast where we only talk about My Gym Partner's a Monkey, and by God, is it having less and less to talk about, because this is the last two episodes before the series finale.
Oh boy.
I just had like a drop in my gut, I feel like my heart just fell into my stomach.
Well, this show will make you feel like that, and we've been hyping it up, the finale of the series for a while now. I mean, I feel like we've been hyping it up since day one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, the finale is the thing that I have been thinking about for years, even before we started doing this. The finale is like the thing that like always sit with me because it's so weird. It's
Well,
so
we'll
weird,
get
but-
into it. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Right now,
we'll get into
this
it.
is the last of like the regular episodes, and not accounting for the fact that animation production might shuffle some episodes around, and they might not be released in the order they were intended to. But these are modular episodes, so it doesn't really matter. So it might. It doesn't really matter, the intention, I guess, in that case.
And plus, even if that is the case, they still did reverse in the order that we're, doing this in. So it's that's the official release. That's what they are. That's what they have to be.
But, geez. Lonely Lion, do you want to just get into it?
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about Lonely Lion.
It's... Okay, I think if they're gonna end off with an episode, that gets to the heart of the things, this one's a funny one to do it. It's got a bit of everything, I think, that we look to for My Gym Partner's a Monkey. A bit of that cynic humor, but it's not annoying or bad.
I found this pairing of episodes interesting just because of how connected they felt. Usually they don't feel as connected unless it's a two-parter or like Halloween, some sort of like thing like that. So like, yeah, it feels very appropriate that these two episodes are happening now.
So, Lonely Lion starts out with Adam and Jake just hysterically laughing, walking down the street, going to their bus stop. We see Carrie for like a moment.
Yeah, we think I was expecting there to be like maybe this would be a Carrie episode because like usually we only see her when they like
put her in, yeah,
want to use her for something, and now they just walked by her and they got on their bus.
Look,
and
Adam
they kept
kind of stops and like looks at her for a second, like he wants to talk to her, but then Jake kind of like grabs him and shakes him, kind of like, no, pay attention to me, and then they start laughing together again, and then get on the bus without even like saying hi to Carrie.
A fact I want to mention: Jake never like takes this like bus stop. Either Jake was having a sleepover with Adam, or like Jake decided to just like go out of his way to not take the bus from like the zoo that morning and just like walk with Adam all the way to his bus stop.
Interesting stuff going on in this episode, I gotta say. They go into school, they're still laughing. Adam's like, okay, Jake, I gotta go to class. He walks off and Jake's just like, man, love that guy. Like, what a funny guy. I just love that guy.
I love that guy. He cracks me up. Like, they were having a big old belly guster.
they were having a belly guster.
Yeah, they're having a whole belly guster laugh at that one. Man, I wish I could have known the joke that they were laughing about. Or maybe it was just each other's company that was like so
entertaining. It was probably just one of those typical, when you're a kid and like your friend says something stupid and you just start laughing about it, and you just can't stop laughing even if it makes no sense and it's just a dumb little joke. And it just sends you into like that fit,
Yeah, like when you, like your best friend in like school.
Yeah.
Just like being a goofball at the Scholastic Book Fair.
Yeah.
But I think, that like subtle like Carrie moment illustrates two things this intro. One, that, Adam really is a friend of Jake, and they've really acclimated to each other. They're friends of friends. But also the fact that he is deep in that animal school. He's there. Maybe like, he wanted to like interact with Carrie for a moment, but just like alienated by him like hanging out with Jake or whatever, just like him not having the time or whatever it was. There was a barrier there that like stopped that interaction.
Yeah, like he was almost like, do I, go back to my human side, my human friends? Like, is that still an option for me? Or do I just kind of let her pass me by like two ships? Like we don't hang out as much as we used to. We don't really talk that much. Our interests are different. I'm at an animal school now.
Maybe we really can't, like, maybe it's time to like just drift apart,
Yeah, he's got Jake now. He's got Windsor. He's got Slips, Lupe, Ingrid. Like, he doesn't really seem to connect with Carrie that much anymore, aside from just pretty girl. That's about it.
They played airsoft that one time.
They sure did.
Paintball.
They sure did. Now, here comes the kind of problem, I guess, conflict of the episode. Well, first, Slips, he's all tangled up. He doesn't have any more detangler. Jake's all, I love Adam. Did you guys know I love Adam? And Lupe's like, yes, we know. It drives the internet bloggers crazy. Which I guess is implying that people, I guess, complained about that.
Either people hated the fact that, like, Adam and Jake were so buddy-buddy in that way, quote-unquote, or people were really loving the idea of Jake and Adam being an item, and they just had to remark on that. Either way.
That could be maybe. I mean, there's something kind of wholesome about thinking about children in the early 2000s looking at Adam and Jake and being like, "Aw, they're boyfriends."
Somebody on the internet in 2006 or whatever was like, this is the ship I want to die on.
This is it. This is the fandom. My fandom.
Because I'm the only My Gym Partner's a Monkey fandom person online right now.
What they should have said was it drives the internet blogger crazy.
So he kind of goes on for a while, Jake, about like, oh, he's my special guy, I love him so much, and Lupe's like, yeah, but read this like newspaper thing, and it's one of those like ask column things, and it's for someone named Glibby, and so he reads one of the letters, and it's like a letter very obviously from Mr. Mandrill about I don't know what, him just being
he
Mr.
just
Mandrill.
likes feeling free with no pants. Is that wrong?
I just want to tell y'all, I feel like this like episode, it's like a bad omen or something. There's like thunder happening right now, and my like lights just like flickered, like my desk lamp. I saw it turn on and off, and it's like
that maybe like Jake is not wanting you to leave.
I don't. Oh my!
Like he's.
I think we're in it now. I think we made a mistake.
As we get closer to the end, Jake's grasp on us might get a little tighter.
God, this is like it's gonna be like the end of Donnie Darko.
These episodes have felt a bit like I don't want to say antagonistic of the viewers, like of us, but it kind of feels somewhat like that. It addresses our concerns at the very least. I'll get to that in a bit. But the issue here, someone named labeled Lonely Lion is asking Glibby about their troubles at fitting into an animal school. They can't relate to anybody, and they're thinking about just like leaving and going back to their old school or joining the circus or something. And of course, who else could it be?
Yeah, Lonely Lion. Lion spelled Lyon. You gotta know who
it's
it
that
is.
one Lion Punk kid with the gold tooth from that episode, the last episode we watched where Adam pulled out his tooth. He doesn't fit in anymore, and he wants to.
Oh, but yeah, because all of his other lion friends still have gold teeth, but now he doesn't have any, and he was already kind of the weakest link because he had the smallest number of gold teeth. He only had one, but now he has 0. So who fits in? Not him.
Jake is upset at the letter because Windsor is like, yeah, that's from Adam for sure. And he's just like, oh, well, I wasted my 4 seasons of my life with that guy. I could have had a Henry or Dickie as a gym partner, but no. And so, he goes through his typical kind of just Jake tantrum, I guess you would call it. Jake is very moody in this episode. I feel like he just bounces back and forth between oh, I love Adam, what a swell guy, to I'm going to kill him maybe.
He can't really decide how he feels most of the time, which
it's
fine for an emotional flower like Jake. He needs to express himself at all times exactly what he's feeling.
He does
no room for thinking about what you're currently feeling. Just say it.
Oh, that boy ain't right. But he does what should be the good idea of going to a counselor, and there's this running joke in this scene where Mr. Mandrill keeps calling Jake different names. It's oh, seems you're in a bit of a pickle, pumpkin. Don't call me pickle. I called you pumpkin. Pickle pumpkin? That goes on, and he tries out other names like Slim and Little Colonel.
Slim.
Little Colonel's my favorite. Why does he call him that?
Well, hey there, Little Colonel. He ends up the last thing he ends up calling him is Gunner.
Tail
gunner.
gunner.
Tail Gunner. And Jake is just like, hey, pretty cool.
But like, Mr. Mandrill at first here is giving really bad advice, like saying
As
like,
usual.
like, oh, if you're feeling like threatened by like Adam, what you should do is just like go away. Don't tell him like anything about like how you're feeling. Just like, drive him away. Just put a wedge between yourselves and like don't answer to him at all.
Mr. Mandrill just told Jake to ghost Adam.
And it's like, oh wait, you don't want Adam to leave. Oh well, that's like different then. And then he like pulls out a teen gossip magazine, and it's like, oh, if you want to please your man, you gotta like make him feel at home or something. We gotta stop dancing around it. I mean, we've said it, but this show really likes like just like tossing out the implication of Adam and Jake being gay every now and then, don't they? It's a lot different from other like buddy cartoon character main casts, right?
It's pretty like it feels
more emphasized here and more joked about here than anything else. Like, I mean, like, besides like Ren and Stimpy, but like, that's like a whole other can of worms.
That's a messy can of worms.
It's mean. That's a mean show.
I watched that. I watched Ren and Stimpy, and them's is mean.
Them's mean. That's a mean show.
I mean, I'm not saying it's like any less mean here. I don't know what the intent is.
No, my gym partner's a monkey is sweet, and it's such a nice and like not hateful show. That's why I like watching it.
Now, don't you dare lie like that in front of our audience.
I'm sorry, everybody. Dang, I messed up. I'll be better in the future.
It's just like weird, like, like seeing like how like much it's joked about here, like in comparison to like stuff like the Foster's Home is the one like I think about mainly, like that comparison where it's like it's just like a boy in his blob situation, literally. But here it's just like it's so antagonistic, romantistic. I don't know what the words are, but it's a lot of things. It's very divisive. It's weird, and that's like that plays key into this episode, like Jake's inner turmoil as he like deals with his feelings, as he like tries to get Adam back to feel more homely in this place. So he decides he needs to make Adam feel like everyone else is more human.
Yeah, he's talking to the pack about it, and they're like, "Come on, guys, we already tried doing something kind of like that in the robots episode. We gotta try acting like humans." And they're all like, "No." They're all like, "No, I don't know. I don't really want to do that." And Jake holds up a suitcase, like a metal suitcase or whatever, and he's like, "I'll give you your souls back."
God, we don't even mean for him to be this kind of character. We were joking at first.
But he is.
But then
he just is.
He just is. He's just like this character who, like, I guess has everybody's souls in a briefcase. Is that a Pulp Fiction reference? Were they referencing Pulp Fiction?
I bet you they were referencing Pulp Fiction. I will bet real world money.
Do you think Jake, if we look hard enough at the back of his head, he has a Band-Aid covering up the hole where the devil took the soul out of him?
But no, they're like, okay, well, in that case, I guess we will help you, like, with this. Like, does Jake have everybody's soul in the whole school, or just the pack? I don't know.
Just the pack. I feel like it's just...
Not Adam's.
I mean...
He can never...
Not Adam's soul.
To contain that.
So he goes. We have this very like odd scene where Jake is at home, like having dinner with his family, and he's like, "Daddy, I want to act like a human."
Before that, I wanted to mention how, like, at the lunch table,
Oh yeah, God,
what he's coming up with, like, you know, oh, we gotta get Adam back. We could buy some humans. That was one of the suggestions, and that was like what they said was too much like the robot episode. But at one point, Adam comes to sit down. He's like, "Hey, Jake, how are you?" And then like Jake just blows up on him, like, "Oh my God, Adam, shut up! You're so annoying."
He's like, "Stop bothering me! Go away!" And Adam just kind of like frowns. He's like actually sad.
That's one of my favorite reactions that they've been using in this show, is just like quiet, like disappointment. Just like Adam frowning and just leaving, like not even able to say anything.
And like it even happens as Jake is leaving the lunchroom again. He passes by Adam and he's like sitting with the koala girl, and he's just like, "Oh, hi Jake," and he's like, "God, you're so annoying."
Comes out of nowhere, and it's so vicious.
And yeah, that's kind of why that's kind of part of like the whole Jake is very emotional in this episode. He either loves Adam or just hates him.
Who knows?
It's
so
not
yes,
help.
but he's at home talking to his dad. He's like, "I want to act like a human," and the dad, the dad is very like, "Why would you want to act like those filthy things?" You know, and you know the mom's like, "Oh, they're not so bad. They're fine. You know, it's fine. Whatever." And it's a very odd conversation. That I mean,
where's Jake's brother?
Oh no, you don't know? He went off to college,
Yeah.
and then like his dad like around the same time had to go to college because his job at the factory like fell through. So like he joined like his son, Jake's brother, in college for a year to get his diploma, and then they
damn it.
Parallel.
Hey there, Jake.
But yeah, I'm kind of just dancing around the fact that this scene is so weird.
Yeah,
It's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how, like,
weird.
pretty bluntly putting it, it's as if Jake is having a conversation with his dad, being like, "Oh, I love my human boyfriend," and then he's like, all humans are gross and bad, and you shouldn't, you know, hang around humans. Your boyfriend, I guess, is okay. He's a pretty
That line feller's alright.
yeah, but all the rest of those folk are not, and it's like, ooh.
Like, you know,
fair.
like I gotta say, you know, like it'd be very easy for people to say that like this is just like exaggeration what we're saying, and you know, like, you know, theory crafting like we do on the show for fun. But I mean, you know, it's got to a point here where, like, you know, that, like, obviously in the writer's room there's, like, you know, seeing some, like, the internet bloggers, as they so, like, obviously mentioned before, like, you know, their discussions, and, you know, they were like, you know, let's put a bit of that into this, maybe.
Have we ever found any of these like so-called internet bloggers from like the time that this show ran?
I haven't
read any of those.
I bet they're gone from the internet, to be honest.
Where would they even be? DeviantArt?
No,
it would
they
be probably
definitely
some,
like WordPress blogs and like
Yeah.
a Blogger, you know, that site.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
like the
yeah.
only like, you know, site you could like really like put up your like stuff about, you know, like you either worked on cartoons and like put some like art on there, or like you just hated like a very specific cartoon and had to like rant about it on there. That was the place to go.
But that stuff's probably long gone.
But
Which is so tragic.
But I feel it's important to maintain here that it has not that like what was once like theoretical subtext is now text in this episode. They don't outright say it, but it is text.
Yeah, they like are definitely like winking at us. Like, yeah,
they're like looking at us and they're just like, see that? Greetings from the past, future people. You know, to be fair though, on Jake's dad's his perspective of humans, if these 3 humans that visit the like zoo are his only impressions of what humans are like, and maybe, I mean, for all we know, we don't see humans that often. That could just be like what most of the humans in the My Gym Partners a Monkey world are like. They're just stupid and they just mean and they throw food at animals.
So there's kind of just an interesting scene here where it's Jake and his dad standing in their enclosure, just like his dad standing like stoically, like not looking at Jake, looking towards the like disgusting humans that are like throwing shit at them and yelling at him and stuff, and just kind of be like, this is what humans is like, you know? They like to yell things at you, tell you what to do, throw food at you, take pictures of you. And it kind of feels like that scene in Ratatouille where the dad rat takes Remy to like the shot where there's like a bunch of like rat traps. That's what it felt like.
God,
it was like,
this is what humans are. They're no good, Remy.
While you were describing that, I was like, God, this really reminds me of something. But what the? You said it. That's it.
Like, that's what the scene is, and it's. If this was a better show, it'd be like a really emotional scene where like Jake's dad is like not blinking. He doesn't care when they throw food. He doesn't move because he's been through this song and dance like over and over. And Jake kind of like flinches when they take pictures and like kind of reacts when he gets like a drink thrown on him. But his dad has been through it so many times. He doesn't react. He doesn't care. He takes it.
He's like, this is what they're like, Jake. This is what they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Bongo transition.
Yeah, then bongo transition. So Jake he's waiting for Adam to come into the school. He's told everyone this advice that his dad has given him. He's like, all right, everybody, places. And as soon as Adam walks in the hallway, everyone starts yelling at him, taking like pictures of him, throwing shit at him.
Hey, scratch your butt!
Yeah, they're like yelling, they're like telling him things to do. It's awful. Adam's like so stressed. Like he looks like in genuine, like just like pain and just he's scared. He runs away. When he comes into class, it starts
shaking.
Yeah, he comes into class, it starts happening again. He starts like crying. He's getting harassed like over and over again. And
meanwhile, all the animals are just like smiling and looking at him and yelling.
Do you think they're doing this genuinely, like, to like keep Adam here, or like they kind of like know what's going on besides Jake, and like they kind of just do this because they're annoyed by the only human in this all animal school?
I think maybe this is why I think that Jake probably has their souls too, or he's just like he's holding the whole school captive to do this.
How do you think he captured their souls? Do you think he used like the soul do you think those like the shiny things were like soul gems from like the Elder Scrolls? and he like captured their souls within like doorknobs, and that's what the briefcase was full of? Who is Jake Spider Monkey?
Oh my god.
.com.
Adam comes up to Jake later in the lunchroom. He's wearing like a bunch of disguises. Jake doesn't recognize him, obviously, until he takes literally all of them off. And then he's like, It's me, Adam. Listen, what's going on? Why is this happening? Why are you all doing this? And Jake's like, well, we wanted, you to feel human. And he's like, guys, like, you're my friends. I don't want you to act differently. And this is not what humans act like. And he's like, well, I mean, this is what we know them to act like. And there's kind of just this moment where like even the pack is like, yeah, this is what humans do at the zoo. Like, that's what they're like. But it's like, no, resolution, they kind of get all together. They're like, oh, it's fine. Everything's good. But what about that letter written to the newspaper?
Who could have possibly wrote it?
All right, no, wait. Anybody who has not seen this episode, I want you to just take a moment and try and guess in your mind who you think really wrote this run. You'll never fucking get it. Okay. Principal Pixie Frog runs in. He's like, I know who did it. I'll reveal him. It was bear number 10. And he turns to the bear background character we see pretty often, grabs his head, throws off his mask, and it's Chad. It's Chad.
I vocally, like, reacted to this. I went, oh! Because
I don't think we've seen him in, like, seasons. Like, it's been a while.
It's been a while. I'm going to look up Chad appearances.
That's not going to help you, but okay.
My gym partner's a monkey. No, it will.
I don't know if there's like a page solely dedicated to that, but all right.
I found his page on the My Gym Partner's a Monkey wiki, one of our wonderful resources. Me, Adam, you, Jake.
Oh my god, that was a long while ago.
That was the first episode that he appeared in. Okay, so then after that, it was Docutrauma. He was in that one. He was in Supplies Party. That was season 1, episode 19. He was in like 2 episodes in a row in season 1.
You're gonna list out all of these.
Yeah, I am. The times they are exchanging.
Yeah.
That's season 2, episode 5.
I remember that one.
Chad was in that one.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Human Behavior. That was season 4, episode 14.
So yeah,
that was the last episode that Chad appeared in.
So that was pretty recent, but like, you know, like.
Also, not to disappoint everybody, but this was the last one.
Oh no! We don't get to see more Chad?
We don't get to see more Chad.
So he was
not
in, like,
even
a
in
bunch
the
of...
finale?
Wow. So
No.
He was in a bunch of season 1 episodes, 1 season 4 episode. Well, I guess, is this till season 4 or is this season 5? I can't.
This is season 4. There's only 4 seasons.
Yeah, so bunch in 1, and then he disappears for 2, 3, and then he's back in the last bit of season 4. Wonderful.
Okay, I'm looking at, like, his friends.
Don't.
And it says Carrie Anderson, and I don't believe that.
Friends in quotes. You know,
friends. It should be in quotes.
It's funny you bring that up because like in this like finale, I honestly thought that the twist was gonna be Carrie who.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought like, oh, Carrie, because maybe she missed Adam as a friend, you know, and wanted him to come back.
But I don't think she would do something so dastardly. So
Do you want to hear Chad's enemies?
Is it Adam?
Adam Lyon, Jake Spider Monkey, Ingrid Giraffe, Slips Python, Lupe Toucan, Windsor Gorilla, Principal Pixie Frog.
Yeah.
And it's probably like solely because of this incident where for some reason Principal Pixie Frog with no stakes is just like wanting to reveal like this like incredibly just like personal like confrontation to like the whole school.
Somebody left. There's a comment on the Chad page that I think is probably our responsibility.
What does it say?
It's just a single comment from a fandom user on May 8th, 2019. I despise you, Chad. Fuck you. and that's it.
I mean, the timeline does make sense, but also... But it's just funny to think that someone, like, randomly remembered, like, Chad from My Gym Partner's a Monkey, went on his, My Gym Partner's a Monkey wiki page just to say, fuck you, Chad.
Well, another weird thing that happens here is after Pixie Frog reveals it, Chad's just like, yeah, I just wanted to come over here. I got bored of bullying the other students, so I wanted to come over here and do something stupid. Like, that's his only reason. I just love the wording of that. And he's like, I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for, meddling Principal Pixie Frog. And Principal Pixie Frog starts talking like Scooby-Doo.
Looks like we're in trouble.
It's very odd. Then the episode ends with a "z" from Adam, which I thought was appropriate.
Been a bit.
A good old fashions to end with.
And you know what? Like I said, this episode has everything. It circles back to like what felt like the very first season, like his old roots, where they try to tackle a serious topic somewhat.
God, that's classic.
They don't really like talk about like the topic itself as much. Really, they just address it as like a thing in their universe, and then they end with something completely out of context.
Beautiful, beautiful episode. Would highly recommend to anyone.
It is definitely a staple of the series. At the end of when we're finally done, we will release a list of all the episodes that you gotta see, all the episodes that you don't gotta see.
Our canon list for like the Jake Spider Monkey storyline.
Exactly.
His arc.
There's filler. That is unneeded. You can experience the show without watching a large majority of it.
And with that, on to the next one.
Lucy, have I done this joke before?
What joke?
I probably have. You come to my house, right, Lucy?
Okay.
And we're just hanging out, having fun.
Okay.
And I'm just like, hey, we should like go somewhere and get some food. So you're like, okay, cool. So we leave my apartment and it's kind of dark outside, and like I'm like about to close the door, but we're like talking about something, right?
Okay.
And I'm looking at you like, you know, making some kind of dumb joke.
Okay.
And you notice this, but I don't. You see something kind of like fast run towards my open door. And it looks like this, and it goes inside, and then I close the door and I lock it.
Okay.
Would you tell me?
Yes, I think I would. I think I'd be like, what the fuck was that?
Hey, I just got back. Didn't you say this exact same thing before to me?
Wild thing. We open with a news story. A wild girl who was raised by possums has been found. It is going to be sent to the same school that Adam is going to. They mentioned Adam.
Nothing this crazy has ever happened since the time that Adam was mistakenly sent to Charles Darwin Middle School. So, like, this is, like, big news. It's been a while since something this wild and wacky has happened. And that's the end of the episode.
So, when we get to the school setting finally, Adam is kind of just, I think, annoying everybody he possibly can. He's talking to Mr. Mandrill, and he's like, as the only human kid here, I really go through a lot of stuff here. It's really traumatizing, and kind of goes on, and Mr. Mandrill's kind of like zoning out. He's getting jumped later by Bull Sharkowski trying to take lunch money from him, and Adam just goes on this whole thing. He's like, even though I'm the only human kid in the school, doesn't mean, I have the most money, and, sometimes my parents, we're in a decent financial situation, we're stable and all, and it just goes
Of course
on.
went through rough times, though.
Yeah, it just goes on, and to the point where Bull, like, takes his little water headphones off and starts, like, choking himself, like, he doesn't want to listen to it anymore, and then he's talking to Jake, and Jake's just like, so tired, and Adam's like, I'm the only human at the school, blah 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 blah. And at this moment, the possum girl, she shows up, and
she falls down from the ceiling.
Yes, she's, I don't know how to describe her. She's
so
weird.
Pallid.
Yeah.
Her face does not suggest much.
She looks so sickly.
Yeah, she looks sickly.
Not what I'd imagine like a wild girl, more like a cave girl. Like not like, cave girl. Ooga ooga, like much like an albino salamander, like just like who like only life is living in a cave. That's what she's like.
Yeah. Just a creature that does not depend on like movement for survival that often. It's actually better to just like lay down and it just be still for most of your life. That's kind of what it feels like, yeah.
So anyway, she comes in. She like drops from the ceiling. She's hanging down like a possum, possum girl. She was raised by possums. Did you know that? Everyone's like, hey, look at the new human girl in like this all animal school. Now there's 2 humans in this school, and there's like balloons and confetti like flying from the ceiling, and like everyone's like so like interested and jazzed about that. And Adam just starts hyperventilating. He can't handle this. The fact that he's not the only human in an all-animal school anymore.
Driving him crazy.
The way that he's like animated hyperventilating was the most fluid I'd seen him in a bit. Like he was like really heaving and like eyes bulging. It was
he was exaggerated to a point that he was like he was just a little steamed vegetable.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, well, I'm the only boy human still, and he kind of turns on the possum girl. He's like this is my school, just so you know. Like I'm the only real human here, and she just starts just like slapping his head like over and over again.
He's like, ow! Stop it! Stop slapping me.
He's like, it's not fire. My hair's not fire. And she's like, yeah, I know it's not fire. And just fucking slaps him again because she just wants
wanted to slap your stupid head.
Yeah, she's like really mean to me. I'm sorry.
Me?
Now.
See.
Even though Lucy has gotten on my case for less on this show. Let's not.
To him, I'm not Adam.
Hey, everyone! Lucy's Adam.
No! I like look down and my hands start like lose a finger and my hands start morphing together.
You look in the mirror and your fucking hair turns that awful color.
Starts turning into rectangles.
I'm wearing cargo shorts. Oh god.
Oh god.
So he tries to kind of, I don't know what he's trying to do to her, maybe strangle her or something. He like moves to get her, and Mr. Rancho's like, Adam, no, you cannot hurt this helpless non-verbal possum girl. And he like picks her up like a baby and starts like going like a Gucci Gucci goo to this child.
And this child was just like,
So, we get the plot here, boy who cried wolf situation, which, you'd think would be a recipe for, alright, here we go again. Hate this sort of thing, where it's like, everyone's like, oh, but Possum Girl's innocent or whatever and stuff, but like,
sweet little Bean.
Honestly, I don't know if it's like the fervor of like this show almost being over, but like, I was having fun with this plot line.
I think what helps it is it doesn't do too much of the kind of like, what's that one Foster's Home episode?
Oh, Bendy.
Yeah, if it was like a Bendy situation, I think it would be a lot worse. Like, I would really hate this episode. But it's not so much that, like, Adam is like, oh, look, she's talking, and then everyone gets mad at him or something. Everyone already is mad at him and doesn't care about it, so it doesn't matter.
Why'd they make so many cartoons like this? Like, with that kind of plot line, with, like the bendy aspect, like somebody, like a character being introduced who's just awful and fucking terrible. It's almost always frustrating and not fun to watch.
It's easy conflict. But I mean, now that you say that, I think what also helps is, the fact that Adam is established in this episode to be a raging narcissist. Like... So, like, his goal isn't a noble one, He wants to get rid of this possum girl just so that he can be the only human in an all-animal school again.
Yeah.
He's a bit of an anti-hero, kind of like a game.
Don't even say it. No, I said I was not going to talk about it here.
Well, he's kind of like...
What's that guy's
No.
name?
What's that guy's name
Joe?
Joe? Was his name Joe?
From The First of Us?
Yeah, Joe from the... what do they fight? The Cordyceps?
We're
No.
not having that
but, like, that's
real
discourse.
monsters.
But I will say you have a point there, Renee, because it's not so much the conflict is Adam is getting in trouble for something the Possum Girl is doing, or like losing his friends because of something the Possum Girl is doing, and more so, it would be as if in the Bendy episode, Blue's sole goal was not to prove that Bendy was mean, but to just like kill him.
like it's not like he doesn't want to show everybody that like his competitor is like morally wrong. He wants to eliminate them, so he is the only one left. So there's no it doesn't matter how he acts because he'll be the only one.
Exactly.
It's about eliminating competition.
Yeah. So
Something that maybe the school taught Adam.
Jake is talking to the pack at lunch, and he's just like, "Oh man, isn't it so nice that like the Possum Girl doesn't talk? Like, do you hear that? It's the sound of nobody whining." And Adam comes up and has just a really great like line delivery where he's like, "I know you're talking about me."
I know you're talking about me.
And Jake's just like, "Oh, spoke too soon."
He goes on to like try to prove that Possum Girl is like, not a possum girl, but like doing it so aggressively that it's like really not helping his case.
Look, she has manicured nails. Even I don't have that.
But like she distracts them by like slapping his head again and like, "Oh, it's okay, it's not fire. We all too feared that named Firehead."
Which I guess implies that the first week Adam was at school or something, they just all thought his hair was on fire.
They all feared him and considered him an unknown. I guess Jake made first contact.
Yeah, and then was the first to make use of him as a tool, as shown by a vignette where he lights a torch with his head. Anyway,
Very, very good Jake.
Possum Girl like talks, but like everyone else isn't there to hear it, much to Adam's chagrin. So he goes to Principal Pixie Frog's office. Who else to like not solve a predicament?
Yeah, go to one of the useless like faculty members of Charles Darwin to make your problem potentially worse. Or confuse the issue.
Principal Pixie Frog tries to make popcorn on his hair, and Adam just keeps whining. He's like, "I don't like the Possum Girl. He's slapping me, and I got nothing to my character if I'm not the only human here. I want her gone. Can you help me take her away?"
I know you can do this. Pixie Frog.
He is like, "Oh, she's a medium sensation, though, and I hate those, so let me look in my law books." So he pulls out a little, a book, and he starts reading it, does kind of a joke where he's just like, "Yes, yes, 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 no, yes, yes." finds something that someone can get persecuted if they try to impersonate a possum. I thought Renee would have something to say about the puns here, but...
No. I really wanted to say that like I really liked it, but it's not a pun. I forget the word for it. It's not
tongue twister.
No. It's like
alliteration.
Alliteration. Yeah, I kept thinking assonance, but no, it's alliteration that they did with this. That was like, it felt like a little BoJack Horseman kind of joke. It went on pretty long. I'm pretty partial to pretty spectacular alliterate. I can't do it, but I like it when it's done.
I appreciate this show for, like, you know, kind of leading to BoJack Horseman, now that you mention it, Renee.
Alright.
Because there are a lot of similarities, because obviously I'm a person who's watched that show. Everybody has at this point.
Go on.
Good stuff, animal people.
Go on.
My gym partner's a monkey, right?
You haven't watched a single episode, have you?
I haven't.
Really? Genuinely?
I have seen parts of it when old Will has watched it, but nope.
Wow.
Well,
What were we talking about?
I don't know. I think I kind of lost it a bit there.
Okay, well, there is a precedent for potential prosecution of a Possum Girl impersonation.
Yes, but you need practical proof. So Adam goes off to get it. He asks Principal Pixie Frog if he can borrow his hog, and he starts, like, his plan is that as the Possum Girl is crawling around in the hallway, you know, as she does, he's going to ride Miss Warthog like a motorcycle and attempt to run her over. And he's like, yeah, you know, if she is actually raised by possums, she'll just, like, lay there and play dead. But if she wasn't, she'll jump out of the way. It's a good idea. And Jake jumps on the back with him and is just like, hey, I got bored of waiting in my trailer. So, like, what's going on over here? Like, that was just a really funny line.
Yeah, I was just like, I didn't have enough screen time, and I was just hanging out and chilling, and I thought I'd be part of the plot. Now.
And part of the plot he shields Adam's eyes because he doesn't want to see Possum Girl get run over. So it makes, like, the hog, you know, Miss Warthog, go, like, out of control. The Possum Girl shields her eyes and just crouches, and Adam is, like, pissed that Jake made a miss.
Jake! I was supposed to hit her!
Well, I'm sorry, Adam. I just hate it when girls die.
You know it upsets me, Adam.
But anyway, if Adam had a backup plan anyway. Possum Girl tries to slap his head again, but, like, finds out that, like, his hair is as solid as a kidney stone from, like, tons of hairspray. And oh my god, she broke her manicure! No!
That's so sad. God. I would hate for that to happen to me.
So much so that you would, like, fall out of your acting stupor and reveal yourself to not be a Possum Girl, but a two-legged farcical.
The illusion would completely leave me. I would just have to, like, I would have to yell about it. I would have to scream.
But this reveal is, like, I think if, like, they hinted at it, like, being legitimate, like, I would have, like, hated this, like, sort of explanation and reveal. But the way it just kind of comes out of nowhere turns it into, like, hilarious. Because it's, like, Possum Girl, like, apparently was such a big fan of Adam Lyon, only human in an all-animal school, that she just, like, had to, like, sneak in there. They wouldn't let her in as, like, a regular human. She doesn't have, like, a funny name that can be misconstrued as an animal name through a clerical error. So she just lied because she was so madly in love with the idea of Adam Lyon.
Of all people.
Of all things.
That's such a ridiculous idea. It's so funny.
The idea that anybody could just be madly in love with Adam Lyon. The idea that she was
just, like,
his biggest fan.
Yeah, to the point of just, like, pure fanaticism, just for the fact that he's the only human in an all-animal school. And that his, like, narcissism was, like, confirmed in this moment. Oh. In the end, though, she gets, like, arrested by the possum police. She gets taken in, and everyone just kind of, like, has a laugh about it. I don't know why, but...
Yeah, they're really, like, kind of, like, a real laugh about it, like, point and laugh.
Well, it's really funny. How could you not laugh about that? You know? How could you not think it's hilarious that this girl got arrested?
Anyway, Jake pours some, like, some reality into there by saying, like, Adam, you, like, probably lost your, like, only chance at, like, love here with someone who is, like, so obsessed with you. It's like, dang. Yeah. But, I mean, he is the only human at CDMS now. Oh, what a hollow victory that is.
What did you say when we finished watching the episode? You said it was like a villain's victory or something?
Yeah.
No good people won on this day.
And they all, like, end on, like, a joke of, like, roasting marshmallows on Adam's fire here. And that's the last episode, the last, like, regular episode of this entire show. From here on, it's just the finales. But, like, hey, you know, honestly, like, these were final episodes, I'd say.
I think they wrapped everything in a fun little bow, nice little, just, you could definitely tell this is how we had to end it.
It, you know, felt a bit like going back to their roots, felt a bit season 1, but with, like, you know, the fourth wall breaking, like, sort of self-awareness of season 4. Yeah, it definitely feels like it's just the thesis of My Gym Partner's a Monkey. And that thesis is, there are no good actors in My Gym Partner's a Monkey. I mean, like, good, like, people, not, like, you know, actors were great in this show.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
There's no great characters. Alright, well, let's talk about some of our fan art and comments.
And my God, you know, like, as we were saying, like, this was gonna be, like, our last, like, couple of regular episodes. People were, you know, like, I guess, like, that tickled, like, people's, like, inspiration and, like, people's, like, just, like, wanting to, like, give a last hurrah for this show. Do we want to, like, talk about this Ko-fi donation first?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about this Ko-fi donation, and you can still donate to our Ko-fi. I've set up a new goal because we had a goal for Allie to get her some just, like, extra money because she helps draw our thumbnails and stuff, and we pay her ourselves, but we wanted to give her kind of just like a bonus. So we set up a goal, we got it. So yeah, our last goal is just gonna kind of be like a last hurrah. It's a very small goal. It's, I think, $30 or something. It just kind of we'll split it evenly between the three of us if we meet it. But yeah, you can donate to us if you'd like. It's just kind of a hip hip hooray thing. But we got a lovely, generous donation from Hendrix Trog, who says, donating before the show ends to say how much I love listening to y'all. You have the best dynamic of any podcast. Pod question. What are your thoughts on the legacy of The Monkey Show 15 years later? Do you consider the show to be forgotten? Does this Emmy-winning show get its due?
The show isn't forgotten. And I say that on the basis of just, I mean, really, it's because of all of y'all. The show has managed to continue its life in the year 2020 because of everybody who has listened and, you know, drawn fan art, and it's, you know, I don't know if it deserves it, but you know, I'm happy about it. I'm happy that, like, this silly little podcast could introduce so many people to an entertaining show, or rather make them rediscover a show from long times forgotten.
Mm-hmm. I think
It
I think it's hard to I guess put it into very succinct words. And I think once we do our finale episodes, we definitely will each give a kind of like closing statement on the show as a whole. But I'll just reiterate something we've said before, where there's just something very uniquely mediocre about this show that makes people remember it, but not fully. Like, I remember starting this podcast, like, people would comment, like, oh yeah, I remember this weird part about the show, or this like very specific moment, but really not much else. So kind of being able to take people by the hand and being like, let's go through it again. Let's do it. Like, let's try and do it.
Let's go on that journey once more. But with like an adult perspective, and it's nice for that thing that I saw so long ago to be kind of fully realized in my head, and I understand what it is with my current perspective, instead of it being just like this vague idea of a monkey show that I've left behind.
I think with these sort of shows, like, you know, people are like quick to say that like we should be like examining and like looking at like the greats of the greats, or like the worst of the worst in regards to animation, of just like trying to see like where to go, like, you know, how to improve, or like, you know, what are some great examples of true art and stuff. But, you know, rarely will people go for the creamy middle of just mediocre, like somewhat successful, but ultimately just not highly regarded shows. This is like the middle, like, this is what you could say is like an average success show that like met its goal. It got 4 seasons out the door. It got some merch. It got some Burger King toys. You know, that's more than you can say about a lot of other things.
This is true.
But and it got some Emmys as well. So like, you know, that's a feat. Mostly for the, like, you know, music writing, but, you know, like the Animal School musical. But anyway, it's just like one of those like underdog shows that didn't win out. It just stayed an underdog, and it just ended like an underdog. But my God, it's something special when you like look at a whole breadth of a show, slowly realizing that like it's not gonna end on like a final hurrah, but just like it might just like end on a whimper, and it's just fully reveling in that and just being weird and like self-aware and like aware of like its audience and stuff, and just like flailing in its death throes.
It could have happened to anything. This could have happened to any cartoon. And it happened to this one, and honestly, I don't think there's many other shows like it. I think this show is incredibly unique in what you just described, Renee. It's strange mediocrity that manages to engross us and make us think and dream.
So let's celebrate that.
Yeah, thank you for your comment. Thank you for your donation. Let's talk about this wonderful, wonderful piece of fan art.
Oh my God.
This is by @sludge_eater. They say,
yet again,
this whale killer killed me point blank with his pretty eyes. It's a picture of Mr. Mandrill from the Knights of the Multiplication episode, where he's in this cute little outfit and he's got shiny eyes. He's playing a lute or something?
Yeah, that's a lute, I believe.
You got anything to say, Renee?
I noticed you pausing here, like waiting with bated breath for me to comment on this, as the label not by my own hand, the Maurice Mandrill focuser on
Focuser, that's a word.
Focuser.
I'm loath to label myself as anything else, so I'll just say this is a very lovely piece of fan art, and it's very adorable, and I do enjoy it. never mention Maurice Mandrel in front of me again. But I really do enjoy this.
It's an incredible piece of art, and though Renee is being difficult right now, they really like it.
Captain Scurvy's Blender has been like host to many like neat little like pieces on this show from like the Game Boy Color border for like the emulator that was like My Gym Partner's a Monkey. That was cool. To the Us But As Conquers Bad Fur Day podcast art on DeviantArt. That was good too. To the mashup of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show theme and the Cell 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 song. You know, host to like many like great artworks, great pieces. And now I bring to you like this last hurrah. They come to us with this comment. For my final artistic contribution to this podcast, I present the Big Monkey Musical Extravaganza, a playlist of 13 mashup songs inspired by Animal School Musical and this podcast. It took me like 2 weeks to do this, so I hope you like it, and thank you. I was floored by this. Like, Lucy brought it to me.
I find this album just an incredible treasure. And I'm so happy that it exists.
There's so much here to even like put it in like couldn't possibly like even like preview it on here. Please just go to the SoundCloud. You know, to, like partake in the mashups. It's good. It's
We'll
just
link
insane.
in the description.
Link in the description, as with all of our artists. This comment was sent in by Cap'n. Now that the show is in its victory lap, I just want to say just how much shows like it benefited from syndication. Rewatching it, I noticed almost all the episodes strike the perfect balance of being just good enough, where I'll keep watching Cartoon Network if it's the only thing on, but I probably wouldn't otherwise watch it willingly. It's almost sort of a lost breed of cartoon now. I'd compare it to how video games have been divided into indie games and AAA games, with not much room in the middle since the PS2 days ended. In a similar way, cartoons kids watch today fall into the camp of stuff on YouTube or stuff on streaming services. I don't really care too much that we lost the room for shows like My Gym Partner's a Monkey, but it's definitely interesting to look back, and it makes shows like it a somewhat unique source of entertainment.
I think this is a really
agree.
good comment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that actually put into words, like, I think what we were trying to say earlier a lot better than we did.
We kind of are in a paradigm shift right now, you know, forced by like, you know, just like unforeseen events into like, you know, I feel like just a vast change in media consumption, where, you know, the rise of streaming services and whatnot, you know, there's a lot of think pieces about it. But,
Right. Access is on its way.
God.
But no, I mean, you think about how most people watch cartoons nowadays, and I won't, you know, I think people who might not have younger siblings or younger family members that they interact with a lot might have a kind of skewed perspective of what like 10-year-olds are like today. But I mean, they're not so different from how you were as a 10-year-old. To just kind of get their cartoons a little differently. You know, they might kind of skew more towards streaming services. They might, you know, binge shows a little more often than you would have as a kid. But, you know, it is interesting, the kind of comparison to like how it's either an indie game or a AAA game. And I like totally see that, because it's either like some really good, you know, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon branded cartoon show, or it's some like YouTube web series, and like that's it.
Like, we had so many shows back in the day that were just, I feel like you would never know what they are if you weren't just a child who had to stay at home alone during a summer, and you're just like, you have the TV on and you wake up really early because like you're a baby, and that's how you know to wake up, and you see an episode of Hero 108 or Skunk Fu.
God.
Which, you know, arguably those shows, I believe, are on a lower tier than My Gym Partner's a Monkey.
I don't know. I mean, like, Hero 108, I don't feel comfortable, like, shoving that in with Skunk Fu, but
okay,
alright.
maybe not. It gives me weird. It gave me the weird feelings similar because it was just a show that like appeared in the middle of the day or early in the morning, but it is definitely not quite Skunk Fu. How many episodes of Skunk Fu were there? Hold on.
I have no idea, and I don't know if
care.
like it matters. But
yeah, I guess it doesn't. I mean, if it matters to you, leave it in the comments, I guess.
Well, I think this has been a successful episode. I think we've done a lot of talking. I can feel the people singing for the finale, but we are actually going to be redoing an episode. Episode 9, if you haven't noticed already, has been gone from our YouTube page for quite a bit now, I think. We're going to be kind of releasing a little video that explains why it's gone, kind of some things that changed, why they changed, and why we're going to be redoing episode 9. So I hope you're ready to go back in the past, because we're going to be watching It's the Scary Old Custodian, Adam Lyon, and My Science Fair again. That's right.
And this time, I'll be there.
Yes, Gert will be there, and yes, we are watching the Robot Arm episode again.
I get to make the same jokes again. Yeah, Spider-Man 2, here we go, you can't escape it.
And it'll be great because I'll get to hear those jokes, and we'll be able to talk about one of the best episodes of My Gym Partner's a Monkey.
Debatably.
Right? Y'all liked it, right?
Well, everybody, thank you for sticking around. I'm Lucy, I guess. Are we saying goodbye now? I'm Lucy.
I'm Renee, I suppose.
I'm Gert, and never be afraid to be who you are, Adam Lyon. I'm speaking to you, Lucy.
Oh, God damn it.
Thanks for watching!
Bye.
Bye.